Today we read from the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 2, verses 10 to 18. The letter to the Hebrews isn't really a letter. It's more an extended homily with a complex structure and an equally complex theology. We don't know its author, certainly not Paul, as his style was quite different. It's instructive, with alternate sections of scriptural exegesis, explaining and interpreting Old Testament texts, and then sections of exhortation, encouragement to live in accordance with those. This passage addresses the incarnation. He, Christ, shared our flesh and blood and was like his brothers and sisters in every respect. I wonder if your idea of Jesus echoes that. Jesus in his earthly life was like us in every respect. So we should not imagine that his trials, for example, were easier than ours, or that his torture and death were easier to bear than ours would be. Not so. He went through every bit as much suffering as we do. It's admittedly difficult to reconcile this thought with the belief that Jesus was at the same time the Son of God. God from God, light from light, as the Nicene Creed puts it. It ties one's brain up in knots like spaghetti to try and think about Jesus as fully human and fully divine at the same time, which is what the Creed teaches that he was. So inevitably, we tend to emphasize or focus more on one side or the other at a time, and think about Jesus as fully human, and think about his suffering and his experiencing all the details of our life, or else thinking about his divinity, his miraculous powers, his intimate relationship with God the Father. Each emphasis is important, and each emphasis is helpful. But Hebrews in this passage focuses on the humanity of Jesus. This is hugely encouraging and supportive for us. He is our brother, our sibling as a child of God. He was tested as we are through the trials of life, and probably rather more so than those of us who have a comfortable existence. That means that whenever we are struggling with burdens in life, situations that seem intractable, pressures that we buckle under, we can think of times when he went through the same or worse. God did not choose a primrose path for him. He went through physical, mental, and spiritual anguish repeatedly, and culminating in an horrific death. And so Hebrews says he is able to help us, knowing from the inside what these experiences are like and how they stretch and challenge us and threaten even to overwhelm us or perhaps destroy us. Take heart, Hebrews says. He is there as well. Moreover, Hebrews reminds us that Jesus' death and resurrection broke the power of death and evil, and that we share in this victory. We too will not be defeated by death, but will pass through to eternal life beyond, that is, life in the full presence of God. How amazing to stand with him and hear him say, "Here am I, and the children God has given me."